Hi everyone, I have just finished making my way through Someone to Care by Mary Balogh. A very good read indeed. Not as moving as the previous one on the series in my opinion, but enjoyable and touching nonetheless. I'll be discussing a few ideas in the spoiler section ahead. So far I am enjoying the Westcott series very much. This story was an interesting change of pace from all the other ones I've gotten through by her. Mary's stories usually follow a young couple. This time, it followed Viola Kingsley and Marcel Lamar, two 40-plus parents that have had a bit more life experience. Themes clearly explored and expanded upon as part of the series are things like family, love and acceptance, honesty, and so on. But this one specifically has a theme of running away, partly, as it could also be understood as stepping outside of your comfort zone, or even both. Viola has been dealing with the fallout of her marriage being illegitimate and all the trauma that this has caused in her life and that of her children, whom she loves. But not only that, her biggest regret about her marriage is having spent so much time with someone who did not care for her, did not know her, and for whom all she represented was a good, dutiful wife, as well as access to some funds. This is the crisis that propels her to run away from her family, to push love away, and to isolate herself. In the path to escape her life, she runs into Marcel, someone she had fallen in love with 14 years prior, who was also running away from his own life, due to his guilt for having caused the accident that ended up causing the death of his late wife, abandoning his children, and living a life of shallow pleasure. The story plays out a bit differently, as some of the innocence of the previous ones isn't there. Marcel and Viola, arrange running away together as a contract of sorts. But funny enough, while looking to run away from all known order, they find themselves creating a different type of order and realizing that this is what they both wanted. So, on the one hand, the book does an amazing job showing that you may run away from your problems, but you will always bring them with you, because they're inside of you. Ignoring them will only perpetuate their existence and their effect in your life. Marcel needed to deal with his guilt by sharing his story and being honest with his children, and choosing to be a part of their lives. It was also the best way to honor his late wife as it happened. In Viola's case, she needed to admit that she had been hurt, ignored, and that she had sacrificed so much in vain, that she was angry and felt alone, but that she was also wrong about it. She needed to admit to deserving the love and company she had earned, not because of who she thought she was, a countess, but because she was Viola. On the other hand, the book also shows that sometimes one needs to take a leap of faith and dare to do something that one hasn't tried in order to find one's way. Stepping outside of one's comfort zone might be difficult and terrifying, but there's always something to be found there, something about yourself, and that, I thought, was a very interesting idea. Now, in terms of dissociation, and how much we ignore or attempt to shut down what we think or feel, stopping and breaking the routine might be the best way to finally admit these things, providing us with material to work on our feelings and thoughts and decide upon them. And that this leap of faith looks very different for everyone. Some of us need to ask for help, some of us need to stop seeking outside validation, some of us need to admit being wrong, and yet some others need to admit how it feels to have been wronged, hurt, lied to, cheated on, etc. This won't happen unless you dare to stop your coping mechanisms for a while. Paradoxically, not doing this, much like it happened with Viola and Marcel, living an artificial life of pretending to be okay and functional for the sake of looking tough on the outside, or simply due to fear or shame or guilt or what have you, keeps you in your daily routine but prevents you from participating in your life and actually living it. In that sense, both Viola and Marcel hurt their loved ones by running away because they both felt unworthy of the love they were being offered. They were refusing to participate in their own lives. Another interesting aspect of their interaction is how defense mechanisms, unconscious ones particularly, jump in to sabotage a relationship, any relationship, and it takes a physical toll on both of them. Their story ends by Marcel showing Viola that he cares for her, not for the labels she thought she needed to uphold, and she, in turn, showing him that he did not need to convince her of this because she had accepted who she was, and with that, his care for her and that of their families. Which made me think, no one can truly care about you if you don't allow yourself to be known, and I mean the real you, the one that is under all the layers of whatever life made you concoct as a personality to remain functional. And that was a sad yet hopeful thought. Thank you very much for watching if you've made it this far. If you liked this video, then click like. You may subscribe to my channel, and you can share this with your friends. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys next time.